Just want to bring you some breaking news regarding the King and the Pope. King Charles will become the first British monarch to pray publicly with the Pope since the Reformation 500 years ago. It's during a state visit to the Holy See that's taking place next week.
For nearly 500 years, no British monarch has ever prayed alongside a pope, until now. This October, King Charles III and Queen Camilla will make history in the heart of the Vatican. It's a royal visit unlike any other, filled with symbolism and diplomacy. Because for the first time since the English Reformation, the head of the Church of England will pray publicly with the leader of the Roman Catholic Church. A truly historic and meaningful moment. But King Charles, determined to shape his reign as one of unity and healing, is rewriting history before our eyes. It's been carefully planned for months, yet the details were only just revealed. On October 22nd and 23rd, their Majesties will arrive in Rome for their first official visit to meet Pope Leo XIV, the new head of the Catholic Church. The highlight of the two-day agenda.
Now, the King is also set to meet the new Pope, Pope Leo, on a visit to the Vatican City next month. These are reports that are coming out at the moment. And of course, Charles and Queen Camilla will spend around 2 days on a state visit to Rome's Vatican City in October.
A joint ecumenical prayer service inside the Sistine Chapel, that breathtaking sanctuary of Michelangelo's masterpieces, where popes are chosen and crowned. It's here, beneath the famous painted ceiling, that the British King will kneel beside the Pope in prayer, a symbolic act meant to bridge centuries of division between Rome and Canterbury. The event will be private, intimate, and deeply spiritual, yet its message will echo across the world. To understand why this moment matters, we have to look back to the 16th century, when King Henry VIII broke away from Rome and established the Church of England. Since then, relations between the British Crown and the Vatican have been marked by distance, tension, and quiet diplomacy.
Now, King Charles will become the first reigning English monarch in nearly about 500 long years to pray publicly along with the Pope. The Buckingham Palace and the Vatican officials have both announced the details of the two-day trip of King Charles and Queen Camilla, beginning from the 22nd of October.
Even Queen Elizabeth II, despite her historic reign and many visits to popes throughout her lifetime, never prayed publicly with one. For Charles, however, this meeting represents more than religious symbolism. It's about his broader mission: unity between faiths, nations, and people. Throughout his years as Prince of Wales, Charles made no secret of his deep respect for spiritual traditions across the world. He once said he wanted to be not just the defender of the faith, but the defender of faiths, plural. And this visit to the Vatican proves he's putting those words into action. According to the royal schedule, the King and Queen will arrive in Rome on October 22nd. The following day, on October 23rd, the King will meet privately with Pope Leo at the Apostolic Palace, the seat of papal power for centuries.
And we're hearing that the King and Queen will meet the new pontiff, Leo, at the Apostolic Palace during their trip to the Vatican on Thursday. And like I say, this highly significant moment, you have to cast your mind back, if you can, to 1534, King Henry VIII declaring himself the head of the Church of England.
Behind closed doors, the two leaders will discuss issues close to both their hearts: environmental sustainability, interfaith dialogue, and the unity of Christians around the world. For Charles, who has long championed causes like climate action and cultural preservation, this conversation will be both spiritual and strategic. And for the Vatican, welcoming the British monarch carries enormous symbolic weight, a gesture of peace after centuries of separation. But the meeting with the Pope isn't the end of the story. After their private audience, the royal couple will travel to one of Rome's most revered landmarks, the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls. There, King Charles will attend a Vespers service, where he'll receive the honorary title of confrater, or co-brother, from the Benedictine abbey that oversees the basilica. It's a title reserved for those who have made significant contributions to promoting Christian unity.
Now, of course, there are still concerns around the King's health, but it seems that he's pretty ready for this trip, Andrew.
Oh, he certainly is ready. Papa meets Papa, because apparently Papa is what the royal children call King Charles, so it works well on that sort of basis. Now, he's obviously had 19 months of cancer treatment, so people are worried about him going on these visits.
In other words, this isn't just a visit, it's recognition. Later, King Charles is expected to visit the Pontifical Beda College, an institution dedicated to training priests from English-speaking countries. The college, named after the Anglo-Saxon monk St. Bede, reflects the deep historical roots that connect Britain and Rome, long before the Reformation divided them. It's a nod to Charles's appreciation for heritage and continuity. Originally, this entire visit was meant to take place in April, during the Jubilee of Hope, and would have involved the late Pope Francis. But when Pope Francis's health declined, the visit was postponed. Instead, Charles and Camilla made a quiet, private stop at Casa Santa Marta, where they shared tea and conversation with Francis, on their wedding anniversary, no less. Now, months later, destiny has brought them back, this time for a public, official act that could define the tone of Charles's reign.
The visit was previously scheduled for April, but it was postponed after late Pope Francis fell ill shortly before his death. And during the significant visit, King Charles III will join Pope Leo XIV at a service at the Sistine Chapel.
But as with all royal visits, what happens on the surface is only part of the story. This trip carries profound political and diplomatic meaning. At a time when Europe is grappling with conflict, division, and social unrest, a meeting between two of the world's most recognizable figures sends a clear message: unity over division. For King Charles, this also marks his first major international religious engagement since ascending the throne. It shows his intent to continue his mother's legacy of quiet diplomacy, but with a more proactive, personal approach. Unlike Queen Elizabeth, who maintained strict boundaries between monarchy and faith, Charles is willing to step into the conversation. He sees religion not as a dividing line, but as common ground. And by walking side by side with Pope Leo,
from the papal authority of the Roman Catholic Church, and thus we get that 500-year gap since the last time that a British monarch prayed publicly with a pope.
he's signalling that the Crown intends to play a more visible role in bridging those divides. While most attention will focus on the king, Queen Camilla's presence is also deeply symbolic. For decades, Camilla was seen as a controversial figure within royal circles. Now, standing beside the king in the Vatican, one of the world's most revered religious institutions, she embodies the monarchy's evolution and resilience. Observers note that her involvement in the ecumenical events shows just how far she's come in her public journey, from scandal to respected consort. In a sense, this visit is as much about redemption as it is about diplomacy. When King Charles kneels in prayer beside Pope Leo in the Sistine Chapel, cameras will capture a moment loaded with symbolism. It's not just about the crown and the Vatican. It's about centuries of division between Protestant and Catholic communities across the British Isles, from England to Northern Ireland, slowly healing through gestures of faith and respect. It's also about the broader global message. In an age of polarization, where religion often divides, two leaders, one spiritual, one constitutional, are coming together to show that shared values matter more than historical grievances. Of course, not everyone will view the visit positively. Traditionalists within both the Church of England and the Catholic Church may question the theological implications. Some conservative voices in Britain may accuse the king of overstepping, arguing that the monarch's duty is to defend the Protestant faith, not to blur its lines. But Charles has faced such criticism before. Throughout his life, he's been open about his belief that modern Britain must embrace all faiths: Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, and beyond. He's spoken often about the importance of understanding and inclusion.
You might recall, Gabriella, that he was supposed to have a basic visit to the Pope, a state visit to the Pope in April, but that was postponed due to Pope Francis' ill health, and they had a sort of private.
So for him, this isn't about abandoning the Church of England. It's about expanding the spirit of its message. The monarchy has always been a bridge between the sacred and the secular. Queen Elizabeth II often described her faith as the anchor of her reign. She met 5 popes during her lifetime, but never joined them in prayer. Her son, however, is taking that legacy a step further. Charles's reign is shaping up to be one that fuses faith, environmentalism, and diplomacy, all under the banner of service and reconciliation. When Charles and Pope Leo meet inside the Apostolic Palace, their conversation will be private. But the tone of their relationship will not remain secret. Both leaders are known for their strong environmental advocacy. Pope Leo, following in the footsteps of Pope Francis, has continued urging global action on climate change. King Charles, meanwhile, has spent decades championing sustainability, long before it became a political priority. Their shared passion for protecting the planet is expected to form a key part of their discussions. So while the headlines will focus on the religious symbolism, the meeting may also set the stage for future collaborations between the Vatican and the United Kingdom on issues that affect all humanity. There's also a quiet, personal resonance to this trip. Charles has always admired Italy's art, architecture, and spirituality. Those close to him say he finds peace in places like Assisi and Rome, where history and faith intertwine. Visiting the Sistine Chapel, surrounded by the works of Michelangelo, will be an emotional moment. It's said the king has long held a fascination for Renaissance art and its spiritual symbolism, and praying there, not as a prince or tourist, but as a monarch in dialogue with a pope, will be an experience that defines his spiritual legacy.
At its core, this trip is about something far deeper than protocol.
It's about 2 institutions, both ancient and often criticised for their rigidity, showing that humility and progress can coexist. A monarch known for his modern values, a pope known for his humility and reform, praying together, not for power but for peace. It's a gesture that says, even the most traditional institutions can evolve. As the bells of Rome ring out on October 23rd and the Sistine Chapel doors close behind the king and the pope, the world will witness something that hasn't happened in nearly half a millennium. A British monarch and a pope, side by side in prayer. It's a reminder that history is not fixed. It can be rewritten through courage, faith, and understanding. For King Charles and Queen Camilla, this visit will be remembered as one of the defining moments of their reign. And for Britain, it may well signal the dawn of a new era, one where faith unites rather than divides.